This video contains audio content only. There are no visual elements or images accompanying the audio. If you're expecting to see video footage, please note that this is an intentional audio-only presentation. We recommend listening to this content rather than watching the screen. Thank you for your understanding and enjoy the audio. Welcome, everyone, to this exploration of one of the most transformative events in human history, the discovery of cooking. This journey will take us back in time, millions of years, to a world where survival was a constant struggle and food, in its raw state, presented a significant challenge. We'll uncover how our ancestors, driven by necessity and fueled by ingenuity, stumbled upon a revolutionary innovation that would forever change the course of our species. Using accessible language, we'll delve into the fascinating story of how cooking emerged, exploring the challenges of a raw food diet and the remarkable ways in which our bodies adapted to the cooked foods that eventually became central to our survival. We'll examine the limitations of a raw food diet, comparing our digestive systems to those of our primate cousins and understanding how the simple act of cooking unlocked a treasure trove of nutrients and energy. Prepare to challenge your assumptions about what constitutes a natural, human diet and discover the surprising ways in which cooking has shaped our evolution. This exploration will not only focus on the biological and nutritional impacts of cooking but also delve into its profound social and cultural implications. We'll discover how the communal act of preparing and sharing food fostered cooperation, communication, and the development of complex social structures. We'll trace the evolution of cooking technology, from simple hearths to sophisticated ovens, and explore how these advancements shaped our relationship with food and the environment. Get ready to uncover the hidden connections between cooking, agriculture, and the rise of civilizations. We'll also examine the remarkable ways in which cooking has shaped our cognitive abilities. The complex processes involved in preparing food, from planning and gathering ingredients to controlling fire and experimenting with different techniques, stimulated the development of higher-level cognitive functions. We'll see how cooking fostered abstract thought, problem-solving skills, and social cooperation, laying the foundation for the development of language, culture, and technological innovation. By the end of this exploration, you'll have a deeper appreciation for the transformative power of cooking. You'll understand how this seemingly simple act not only nourished our bodies but also fueled the expansion of our minds, shaped our social structures, and ultimately paved the way for the emergence of modern humans. Get ready to embark on a culinary journey through time, uncovering the secrets of our past and gaining a new perspective on the food we eat today. Chapter 1. Before we cooked. Before we knew the transformative power of a flickering flame beneath a clay pot, before the sizzle of meat over glowing embers, before the comforting aroma of baking bread filled our shelters, life was a constant, grinding quest for sustenance. Imagine a world where your every waking moment revolved around finding and consuming enough food just to survive. Picture a daily menu far removed from the variety and abundance we often take for granted. Fibrous, bitter leaves that require hours of chewing, tough bark that scrapes your palate, raw monkey meat, perhaps even brains, offering a burst of much-needed protein, and a scattering of fruit, providing a fleeting moment of sweetness in an otherwise bland and challenging diet. This wasn't some exotic culinary adventure. It was the stark reality for our closest living relatives, the chimpanzees, and likely mirrored the dietary constraints of our early hominid ancestors. To truly grasp the challenges of this pre-cooking existence, try a little experiment. Take a piece of beef jerky, something readily available in our modern world. Chew it, really chew it. Notice how, even after just a few minutes, your jaw begins to tire. Now imagine chewing not on jerky, but on tough leaves and bark for hours each day, every day. This marathon chewing, as some researchers call it, was the unavoidable reality for our ancestors. Human jaws, unlike those of gorillas, are simply not designed for this kind of constant, intense mastication. Gorillas, with their massive jawbones and powerful chewing muscles, can spend up to 9 hours a day grinding down tough plant matter. We, with our comparatively delicate jaws and smaller chewing muscles, are ill-equipped for such a task. Our ancestors, though perhaps more robust than we are today, still faced this physical limitation. The size of our guts tells another story. Gorillas and other primates, adapted to a raw food diet, have large, bulging stomachs and expansive rib cages, accommodating the extensive digestive system required to break down tough, fibrous plants. Our large intestines, in contrast, are significantly smaller, about two-thirds the size they would be if we were chimpanzees or gorillas. Our flatter stomachs and narrower pelvises reflect our shift away from a purely raw food diet. This difference in digestive anatomy underscores the limitations of a raw food diet for our species. The nutritional landscape of our ancestors was also far from ideal. While fruits offered some easily digestible sugars and vitamins, the bulk of their diet consisted of foods that were difficult to process and offered limited nutritional value. Bark, roots, stems, and leaves, while abundant, provided little in the way of readily available energy. Raw meat, while a source of protein and fat, carried the risk of bacterial contamination and required significant effort to chew and digest. Even the brains of hunted animals, though rich in nutrients, could not fully compensate for the deficiencies of a predominantly raw diet. This limited and labor-intensive diet presented a significant hurdle to our ancestors, particularly given the increasing demands of their growing brains. Our brains, these remarkable organs that set us apart from the rest of the animal kingdom, are extraordinarily energy-hungry. They consume a disproportionately large share of our daily caloric intake. Fueling such a large brain on a diet of raw food presented a significant challenge. The time and energy spent foraging, chewing, and digesting left little room for other activities, such as developing social structures, crafting tools, and exploring the world around them. The constant quest for sustenance became a limiting factor in the development of early hominids. Imagine the scene. A small band of hominids scattered across a savanna, their days consumed by the relentless search for food. Hours spent stripping leaves from branches, digging for roots, scavenging for scraps of meat, and constantly chewing. Their smaller guts, less efficient at extracting nutrients from raw food, demanded a near-constant intake. The physical strain of chewing took its toll, limiting their time and energy for other pursuits. And all the while, their large, energy-hungry brains demanded more. This was the precarious existence of our ancestors, a constant struggle for survival in a world where food was scarce, tough, and time-consuming to process. The limitations of a raw food diet became increasingly apparent, a growing tension that hinted at the need for a better way. A change was on the horizon, a discovery that would revolutionize not just how we ate, but who we became. Chapter 2. The Spark. Taming fire and the first flickers of cooking. The aroma of charred wood hung heavy in the air, a stark contrast to the sweet scent of ripening fruit that had drawn the small band of Homo erectus to this clearing. The remnants of a recent wildfire, sparked by a lightning strike days earlier, still smoldered in patches, offering a new and intriguing element to their world: fire. While the fear of this powerful force was instinctual, curiosity and the promise of warmth on the increasingly chilly nights drew them closer. This tentative exploration of fire's potential marked a pivotal moment in human history, a spark that would ignite a cascade of innovations and ultimately lead to the transformative discovery of cooking. Initially, fire was simply a source of warmth and protection. Huddled around the flickering flames, these early hominids found respite from the dropping temperatures, a comfort that extended their active hours into the evening. The dancing light also offered a sense of security, pushing back the encroaching darkness and deterring nocturnal predators. The crackling flames became the heart of their social interactions, a focal point for communication and bonding. Stories shared, plans hatched, fears calmed. The firelight fostered a sense of community, strengthening social ties and paving the way for more complex social structures. But fire's utility extended far beyond warmth and protection. Observant eyes noticed how the flames transformed materials. A branch, accidentally dropped into the fire, hardened and became resistant to decay. This observation sparked the idea of intentionally hardening wooden tools, making them more durable and effective for digging, hunting, and defense. The tips of spears, sharpened by carefully charring the wood over the flames, became more lethal hunting implements. Even the edges of stone tools could be improved by exposing them to controlled heat, creating sharper edges for cutting and scraping. Fire, once a force to be feared, was now a tool, an extension of their hands and minds. The extended daylight provided by firelight also had a profound impact. No longer confined to the daylight hours for activities, these early hominids could now work on tools, process food, and socialize late into the night. Illuminated caves became hubs of activity, extending the time available for tasks that required precision and focus. The firelight allowed for more elaborate food processing techniques, even before cooking was explicitly understood. Nuts and seeds could be cracked more efficiently under the bright light, tough roots could be pounded and ground into more palatable forms, and meat could be more carefully butchered and cleaned. These advancements, though not yet cooking in the modern sense, represented significant steps towards culinary innovation. The archaeological record offers tantalizing glimpses into these early uses of fire. In Wonderwork Cave in South Africa, ash deposits dating back 1,000,000 years suggest early hominid interaction with fire. While not definitive proof of controlled fire use, the location of the ash deep within the cave makes a strong case against natural wildfires. In Kenya, evidence of controlled fire use dates back 1.6 million years. These early hearths, simple circles of stones containing ash, burnt artifacts, and phytoliths, microscopic silica structures left by long-dead plants, reveal that fire was more than just a source of warmth. The arrangement of stones and the presence of burnt tools suggest intentional fire building and maintenance, a crucial step towards harnessing fire's power. Further north, in Kesem Cave, Israel, a 300,000-year-old hearth found near butchered animal remains hints at the possibility of early cooking. The proximity of the hearth to the animal bones suggests a connection between fire and food processing, though it's impossible to say with certainty whether the meat was intentionally cooked or simply discarded in the fire. A similar 400,000-year-old hearth in Suffolk, England, containing burnt bone and flint tools, further strengthens the possibility of early experimentation with fire and food. The leap from using fire for warmth and toolmaking to using it for cooking was likely a gradual process, a series of accidental discoveries and intentional experiments. Perhaps a piece of meat, dropped into the fire while hardening a spear, yielded a surprisingly palatable result. Or perhaps the observation that fire softened tough roots and tubers led to the intentional heating of other food items. Imagine the first time a fish, wrapped in leaves and placed near the embers, yielded flaky, tender flesh, a revelation that forever changed the relationship between humans and food. The 780,000-year-old site of Gesher Benot Yaakov in Israel provides the earliest definitive evidence of cooking. Here, researchers found not only hearths but also fish bones with clear signs of heating, suggesting that early hominids were deliberately cooking fish. The analysis of fish teeth from the site revealed changes in the size of enamel crystals, indicating that the fish were exposed to controlled temperatures, consistent with cooking rather than simply burning. This discovery pushes back the timeline for cooking by hundreds of thousands of years, suggesting that Homo erectus, not Homo sapiens, were the first cooks. The development of cooking was a watershed moment in human evolution. Cooked food provided more readily available calories and nutrients, fueling the growth of larger brains and bodies. It also reduced the time and energy required for chewing and digesting, freeing up time for other activities. Cooking made food safer to eat, killing off harmful bacteria and parasites. This cascade of benefits set the stage for the development of more complex social structures, technological advancements, and the eventual emergence of modern humans. The spark that ignited in those early hearths not only transformed our diet but also ignited the flame of human ingenuity, forever changing the course of our species. Chapter 3. The Accidental Chefs. Did Homo erectus stumble upon culinary alchemy? Long before the discovery of fire's transformative magic, before clay pots warmed over dancing flames, before meat crackled on glowing coals, and before the inviting scent of fresh bread filled primitive dwellings, life was an unending struggle to secure nourishment. For our Homo erectus ancestors, endowed with larger brains and longer limbs than earlier hominins, the challenge of survival was defined by the need to consume tough, raw foods to sustain their energy. Picture their existence. A world where the fight to gather, chew, and digest enough calories dictated every waking moment, leaving little room for anything beyond the demands of mere survival. Picture a typical meal: fibrous, bitter leaves requiring hours of chewing, tough bark scraping the palate, raw monkey meat, perhaps even brains, offering a burst of much-needed protein, and a scattering of fruit, a fleeting moment of sweetness in an otherwise bland and challenging diet. This wasn't some exotic culinary adventure, it was the stark reality for our Homo erectus ancestors. One can envision a group huddled around a crackling fire, the flames providing warmth and protection against the encroaching darkness. A recently hunted carcass, perhaps a deer or a boar, is being roasted over the open flames. The smell of searing meat fills the air, a tantalizing aroma that sharpens their hunger. In the jostle for the best pieces, a chunk of the carcass slips from a grasp and tumbles into the bed of hot embers. Dismay turns to curiosity as someone retrieves the charred piece. Hesitantly, they bite into it. Surprise registers on their faces. The meat, though blackened on the outside, is surprisingly tender on the inside, easier to chew and swallow than the raw flesh. A subtle, smoky flavor adds a new dimension to the taste. This accidental discovery, this serendipitous tumble into the embers, may have been the first, unwitting step towards the culinary revolution that would transform our species. Another scenario unfolds in a sheltered cave, the fire providing a beacon of warmth and safety. Food, gathered during the day's foraging, is stored near the fire, safe from scavenging animals. The radiating heat, however, unintentionally transforms the food. Tough roots and tubers, left too close to the embers, soften and become more palatable. Fruits, exposed to the gentle warmth, develop a concentrated sweetness. Nuts, accidentally dropped into the fire, become easier to crack and reveal a richer, more intense flavor. These inadvertent culinary experiments, born from the simple act of storing food near a fire, may have planted the seeds of intentional cooking. Yet another possibility arises from the aftermath of a wildfire. The landscape, blackened and scarred, reveals a hidden bounty. Plants, baked underground by the intense heat, emerge as a new and surprisingly delicious food source. These roasted roots and tubers, softened and caramelized by the fire, offer a readily available source of carbohydrates, a welcome change from the tough, fibrous plants that dominate their diet. This accidental discovery, this gift from the charred earth, could have sparked the realization that fire could transform food, making it more nutritious and easier to digest. These initial accidental discoveries likely spurred intentional experimentation. Perhaps they began by burying food near the embers, mimicking the effect of the wildfire. They might have wrapped food in leaves, creating a primitive form of steaming or baking. Different types of food, meat, fish, roots, tubers, nuts, and seeds, would have been tossed into the fire, each yielding a unique result. The process of trial and error, driven by curiosity and the desire for better, more easily digestible food, would have gradually refined these early cooking techniques. These changes in diet are reflected in the physiological changes observed in Homo erectus. Compared to their earlier hominin ancestors and primate cousins, Homo erectus had smaller teeth, a smaller gut, and a flatter stomach. These adaptations suggest a shift towards a diet of softer, more easily digestible food, consistent with the consumption of cooked food. For example, the large intestine of Homo erectus was about 2/3 the size it would be if they were chimpanzees, reflecting the reduced need for extensive digestion of raw, fibrous material. Their smaller chewing teeth and less robust jaw muscles further suggest a diet of softer foods that required less intense mastication. The evidence of burnt animal bones found near hearths in sites like Kesem Cave in Israel and Suffolk, England, offers further support for the idea that Homo erectus was interacting with fire and potentially cooking meat. The ash deposits in Wonderwork Cave, South Africa, and the 1.6 million-year-old evidence of controlled fire in Kenya suggest that early hominids had a long history of interaction with fire, laying the groundwork for the eventual discovery of cooking. The softened texture of cooked food would have significantly reduced the need for large chewing teeth and strong jaw muscles, contributing to the observed reduction in jaw size and muscle mass in Homo erectus. This shift towards cooked food, though likely accidental in its origins, represents a pivotal moment in human evolution, a culinary alchemy that unlocked new nutritional possibilities and fueled the development of our species. Chapter 4. Fish on the Fire. The 780,000-year-old feast that rewrote history. Before humanity discovered the transformative magic of a flickering flame under a clay pot, before the crackle of meat roasting over glowing embers, And before the comforting aroma of freshly baked bread wafted through our shelters, life was an unrelenting struggle for sustenance. For our Homo erectus ancestors, despite their larger brains and longer strides compared to earlier hominins, daily survival revolved around the relentless task of finding, chewing, and digesting enough calories to power their bodies. Picture their world. A landscape where every meal was a raw, arduous affair. Their smaller, less efficient digestive systems, poor at extracting nutrients from unprocessed food, demanded almost constant feeding. Hours were spent gnawing on tough, fibrous plants, leaving little time or energy for other activities. Meanwhile, their large, energy-intensive brains added to the challenge, demanding a steady and ever-growing supply of fuel. Survival was a grueling balance, with every bite a step toward mere sustenance. This precarious existence, a constant struggle for survival in a world where food was scarce and time-consuming to process, is brought to life by the chimpanzee diet. Their daily menu consists of fibrous, bitter leaves, tough bark, raw monkey meat, and a scattering of fruit. To truly grasp the challenges of this pre-cooking world, try chewing a piece of beef jerky for just a few minutes. The strain on your jaw muscles quickly becomes apparent. Now imagine chewing not on jerky, but on tough leaves and bark for hours each day. This, marathon chewing, was the unavoidable reality for our ancestors. Human jaws, unlike those of gorillas, are simply not designed for this kind of constant, intense mastication. Gorillas, with their massive jawbones and powerful chewing muscles, can spend up to 9 hours a day grinding down tough plant matter. We, and our Homo erectus ancestors, are ill-equipped for such a task. The discovery at Gesher Benot Yaakov, a site nestled on the edge of the ancient Lake Hula in present-day Israel, offers a groundbreaking glimpse into a pivotal moment in human history, the dawn of cooking. Dating back 780,000 years, this site reveals not just the presence of fire, but compelling evidence of its deliberate use for cooking. Thousands of fish teeth, remarkably well preserved compared to the more fragile fish bones which soften and decay under high temperatures, tell a story of prehistoric feasts. These teeth belong to two extinct species of the carp family, Luciobarbus longiceps, a giant that could reach lengths of up to 6.5 feet, and Charissobarbus canis. The abundance of teeth, coupled with the scarcity of bones, hints at a process of heating that preserved the durable teeth while the bones disintegrated. But were these fish simply discarded in a fire, or were they deliberately cooked? The answer lies within the intricate structure of the tooth enamel. Analysis of the enamel crystals reveals that these fish were cooked at temperatures between 392 and 932 degrees Fahrenheit, 200 and 500 degrees Celsius. This relatively low temperature range starkly contrasts with the intense heat of a wildfire, which typically burns at temperatures exceeding 1000 degrees Fahrenheit. The controlled temperature range at Gesher Benot Yaakov suggests a deliberate cooking process, perhaps involving wrapping the fish in leaves or clay and placing them near a controlled heat source, rather than directly in the flames. Further supporting the deliberate cooking hypothesis is the absence of charring or other signs of high-temperature exposure on the fish teeth. The controlled heating, evidenced by the enamel crystal analysis, points to a process designed to make the fish more palatable and digestible, not simply to dispose of waste. Scattered among the fish remains, researchers also unearthed remnants of a diverse diet, including nuts, seeds, and fruits, suggesting that these early humans were not just opportunistic scavengers, but skilled foragers with a taste for variety. Isotopic analysis of the fish teeth provides another crucial piece of the puzzle. This analysis revealed that fish were consumed year-round, not just seasonally. This consistent consumption suggests that fish wasn't merely a fallback option when other food sources were scarce, but a staple part of their diet, providing a reliable source of protein and nutrients throughout the year. The presence of stone tools at Gesher Benot Yaakov further connects this site to Homo erectus. These tools bear striking similarities to those found at Homo erectus sites across Africa, suggesting that this species, known for its larger brain and longer legs compared to earlier hominids, was responsible for the cooking. While no human remains have been found at the site itself, the distinct tool connection strongly implicates Homo erectus as the chef of this ancient feast. The location of Gesher Benot Yaakov, on the edge of the ancient Lake Hula, highlights the importance of wetland habitats for early human migration and sustenance. These lakes and rivers, teeming with fish and other aquatic life, offered a reliable source of food and water, potentially facilitating the migrations of Homo erectus out of Africa. The abundance of easily caught fish in shallow waters, like those of Lake Hula, meant that even without sophisticated fishing technology, Homo erectus could exploit this rich food source. They likely caught the large carp with their hands, much like people in some parts of the world still do today. The discovery at Gesher Benot Yaakov has profound implications for our understanding of human evolution. It pushes back the timeline of cooking by hundreds of thousands of years, challenging previous assumptions about the cognitive abilities of early hominids. It lends credence to the cooking hypothesis, which posits that cooking played a crucial role in human evolution by providing more readily available calories and nutrients, fueling the growth of larger brains and bodies, and freeing up time for other activities. This 780,000-year-old fish feast represents a turning point in our history. It wasn't just about making food taste better, it was about unlocking the nutritional potential of our environment, fueling the development of larger brains, and ultimately shaping the trajectory of our species. The controlled use of fire for cooking, demonstrated so vividly at Gesher Benot Yaakov, represents a giant leap forward in human ingenuity, a testament to the resourcefulness and adaptability of our Homo erectus ancestors. It was a spark that ignited not just a fire, but the very flame of human civilization. Chapter 5. The Evolutionary Alchemy. How Cooking Reshaped Humanity. The crackling flames of the hearth, the sizzle of fish on the fire, the aroma of roasted roots, these sensory experiences, so familiar to us today, represent a profound shift in human history. The discovery of cooking, that seemingly simple act of transforming food with fire, was a pivotal moment, a culinary alchemy that reshaped our bodies, expanded our minds, and set us on the path to becoming the species we are today. To understand the true impact of cooking, we must first appreciate the limitations of a raw food diet. Imagine spending your days foraging for tough, fibrous plants, your jaws aching from the constant chewing. Your gut, a complex ecosystem of bacteria working tirelessly to break down this raw material, demands a near-constant intake. This digestive burden limits your time and energy for other pursuits. Your brain, that energy-hungry organ that sets you apart from other animals, struggles to keep up with the demands of a raw food existence. This was the reality for our early hominin ancestors, and it's mirrored today in the lives of our closest living relatives, the chimpanzees. Their diet, a mix of leaves, bark, fruit, and the occasional raw meat, requires hours of chewing and a large digestive system to process. Studies of modern humans on raw food diets reveal similar challenges. Participants often experience weight loss, hormonal imbalances, and persistent hunger, highlighting the biological adaptations our bodies have made to cooked food. Our smaller guts, reduced chewing teeth, and flatter stomachs are all testament to the long-term impact of cooking on our physiology. Consider the gut, that internal engine of digestion. In primates like gorillas, adapted to a raw food diet, the gut is large and expansive, occupying a significant portion of their body cavity. This allows for the extended processing time required to break down tough plant matter. In humans, however, the gut is significantly smaller, roughly two-thirds the size it would be if we were chimpanzees. This reduction in gut size is a direct consequence of cooking. By softening food and breaking down complex carbohydrates, cooking reduces the burden on our digestive system, allowing for a smaller, more efficient gut. This freed up energy previously devoted to digestion for other functions, particularly the growth and development of our energy-hungry brains. Our teeth tell a similar story. Compare the large, grinding molars of a gorilla to the smaller, more delicate teeth of a human. This difference reflects the shift from a diet of tough, raw food to one of softer, cooked food. Cooking breaks down the cell walls of plants, making them easier to chew and digest. This reduced the need for large, powerful chewing muscles and heavy jaws, leading to the more gracile facial features we see in modern humans. The reduction in jaw size also allowed for changes in skull shape, potentially contributing to the expansion of the brain case. The energetic benefits of cooking are undeniable. Cooked food provides more readily available calories and nutrients than raw food. Heat breaks down complex carbohydrates into simpler sugars, making them easier to absorb. It also denatures proteins, making them more digestible. This increased bioavailability of calories and nutrients provided the fuel for the dramatic expansion of the human brain. Our brains, though only about 2% of our body weight, consume a whopping 20% of our daily energy intake. This energetic demand could not have been met on a diet of raw food alone. Cooking provided the necessary surplus, allowing our brains to grow and develop into the complex organs they are today. Beyond the purely physiological changes, cooking also had profound effects on our cognitive development. The complex processes involved in cooking, planning, preparing ingredients, controlling fire, monitoring cooking times, and experimenting with different techniques, stimulated the development of higher-level cognitive functions. The need to anticipate the future, to understand the transformation of ingredients, and to control a potentially dangerous element like fire, all contributed to the development of abstract thought, problem-solving skills, and social cooperation. The act of sharing cooked food around a fire further strengthened social bonds, fostering cooperation and communication. Imagine a group of early humans gathered around a fire, sharing a meal of roasted meat and cooked roots. The firelight illuminates their faces, highlighting the expressions of satisfaction and shared experience. The act of cooking and sharing food becomes a ritual, a social glue that binds them together. The knowledge and skills required for cooking are passed down through generations, becoming a cornerstone of their culture. This shared culinary experience, this communal act of transforming raw ingredients into nourishing food, played a crucial role in shaping human social structures and fostering the development of language and culture. The shift from raw to cooked food was not merely a change in diet, it was a transformation of our species. It reshaped our bodies, expanded our minds, and ignited the spark of human ingenuity. Cooking, that seemingly simple act, became the catalyst for a cascade of evolutionary changes that ultimately led to the emergence of modern humans. It was a culinary revolution that forever changed the course of our history. Chapter 6. From Embers to Empires. The everlasting impact of cooking on civilization. The control of fire and the subsequent discovery of cooking were transformative moments in human history, profoundly impacting the trajectory of our species. It wasn't merely a change in diet, it was a catalyst that ignited a cascade of innovations, shaping our social structures, driving agricultural advancements, fueling technological breakthroughs, and enriching our cultural tapestry. The social implications of cooking extend far beyond the simple act of sharing a meal. The communal nature of early cooking practices fostered cooperation and communication. Imagine a group of early humans gathered around a fire, the flickering flames illuminating their faces as they shared a meal of roasted meat and cooked roots. This shared experience, this communal act of transforming raw ingredients into nourishing food, created a sense of unity and belonging. The knowledge and skills required for cooking were passed down through generations, becoming a cornerstone of their culture and strengthening social bonds. As cooking techniques became more sophisticated, a division of labor emerged. Some individuals specialized in hunting, others in gathering, and still others in the intricate processes of food preparation. This specialization fostered interdependence and contributed to the development of social hierarchies. The control of valuable resources, like fire and cooking expertise, could confer status and power. Feasting and elaborate food preparations became central to social ceremonies and celebrations, further solidifying social structures and reinforcing community identity. The Greek Symposium provides a fascinating example of how food and drink became intertwined with social and intellectual life. These gatherings, following formal dinners, involved the ritual consumption of wine, often diluted with water, accompanied by music, poetry, and philosophical discussions. The symposium served as a forum for social bonding, intellectual exchange, and the reinforcement of social hierarchies. The careful preparation and presentation of food and drink played a central role in these gatherings, highlighting the cultural significance of culinary practices. The development of agriculture was inextricably linked to the rise of cooking. The need for consistent ingredients to fuel the growing culinary repertoire drove the cultivation of specific crops. Early farmers selected plants with desirable traits, larger grains, sweeter fruits, more nutritious roots, and cultivated them intentionally, leading to the domestication of staple crops like wheat, rice, and corn. The invention of the plow, a technological advancement driven in part by the increasing demands of agriculture, further intensified food production, allowing for larger-scale cultivation and supporting larger populations. The domestication of animals, initially for meat and later for dairy, further enriched the culinary landscape. Livestock provided a reliable source of protein and fat, while dairy products added a new dimension to cooking, opening up possibilities for cheeses, yogurts, and other fermented foods. The interplay between agriculture and cooking created a feedback loop, with each driving the development of the other. As culinary practices evolved, so too did agricultural techniques, leading to more efficient food production and a greater diversity of ingredients. Cooking technology also underwent a dramatic evolution. From simple hearths, consisting of circles of stones containing ash and burnt remnants of plants and tools, to elaborate earth ovens and eventually the enclosed ovens built into chimneys, cooking technology constantly adapted and improved. The development of pottery, initially for storage and later for cooking, allowed for boiling, stewing, and other methods that transformed the texture and flavor of food. The advent of metalworking further expanded culinary possibilities, with bronze and copper pots offering improved heat conductivity and durability. Specialized cooking utensils, like knives, spoons, and hooks, emerged, reflecting the growing sophistication of culinary practices. Food preservation techniques, crucial for extending the shelf life of perishable ingredients, also developed. Drying, smoking, salting, and fermenting became essential methods for preserving meat, fish, fruits, and vegetables, allowing for a more consistent food supply throughout the year. These advancements not only expanded the range of available foods but also reduced the risk of foodborne illnesses, contributing to improved health and longevity. The Industrial Revolution brought about a dramatic transformation in food processing and preservation. Canning, a technique that allowed for the long-term storage of food in airtight containers, revolutionized food distribution and made a wider variety of ingredients available to consumers. Freezing, another groundbreaking innovation, further extended the shelf life of perishable foods, preserving their freshness and nutritional value. These advancements, coupled with the rise of mass production and distribution, led to the standardization of food and the emergence of fast food restaurants, dramatically altering the culinary landscape. Cooking has profoundly shaped cultural identities and traditions across the globe. Food plays a central role in religious ceremonies, festivals, and everyday life. Consider the Thanksgiving feast in North America, a celebration rooted in the harvest traditions of both indigenous peoples and European settlers. Or the elaborate banquets and symposiums of ancient Greece and Rome, where food and drink became symbols of status and social cohesion. Culinary traditions, passed down through generations, reflect the history, values, and ingenuity of different cultures. Regional variations in climate, available ingredients, and cooking techniques have given rise to the incredible diversity of cuisines we see around the world. The spicy curries of India, the delicate sushi of Japan, the hearty stews of Europe, each reflects the unique interplay of environment, culture, and culinary innovation. Food has also become a marker of identity in different historical periods. During the Age of Nationalism, in the 19th century, cuisine became a defining symbol of national identity, with each nation promoting its unique culinary traditions as a source of pride and distinction. From the earliest hearths to the modern kitchen, from the simple act of roasting meat over an open fire to the complex culinary creations of today's chefs, cooking has been a central part of the human experience. It has nourished our bodies, fueled our minds, shaped our social structures, and enriched our cultural heritage. The story of cooking is the story of human ingenuity, adaptability, and our enduring quest for a better, more flavorful life. The journey of cooking, from accidental discoveries around ancient campfires to the complex culinary landscapes we inhabit today, is a testament to human ingenuity and adaptability. Driven by the need for more efficient nourishment, our ancestors stumbled upon a transformative process that reshaped our biology, our social structures, and our very understanding of the world. The limitations of a raw food diet, the constant chewing, the strain on our digestive systems, the limited access to essential nutrients, spurred a quest for something better. The control of fire, initially for warmth and protection, opened the door to a culinary revolution. The earliest evidence of cooking, found in the charred fish remains at Gesher Benot Yaakov, pushes back the timeline of this transformative practice hundreds of thousands of years. This discovery highlights the crucial role of cooking in human evolution, providing the fuel for larger brains and bodies, freeing up time for social interaction and technological innovation, and laying the foundation for the development of complex societies. The shift from raw to cooked food was not merely a change in diet, it was a fundamental shift in our relationship with the environment and with each other. The communal act of cooking fostered cooperation and communication, strengthening social bonds and contributing to the development of shared cultural identities. The need for consistent ingredients drove the development of agriculture, transforming our relationship with the natural world and leading to the domestication of plants and animals. The evolution of cooking technology, from simple hearths to sophisticated ovens, reflects our constant drive for innovation and our desire to create more efficient and flavorful ways to nourish ourselves. These findings underscore the profound impact of cooking on the human story. They highlight the interconnectedness of biology, culture, and technology, demonstrating how a seemingly simple act can have far-reaching consequences. The ability to transform food through cooking has not only shaped our physical evolution but has also influenced our social structures, our cognitive abilities, and our cultural expressions. The culinary traditions we cherish today, the diverse flavors and techniques that define our cuisines, are all rooted in this ancient practice. Looking ahead, research into the origins and impact of cooking promises to reveal even more about our past and offer valuable insights into our present. Understanding the role of food in human evolution can inform our dietary choices and shed light on the complex relationship between diet, health, and well-being. Exploring the cultural significance of food can help us appreciate the rich tapestry of human traditions and foster greater understanding and connection across cultures. What are your thoughts on the transformative power of cooking? Share your insights and questions in the comments below. We encourage you to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and suggest topics for future explorations. The journey of discovery never ends, and the pursuit of knowledge, fueled by curiosity and a desire to understand our world, is a journey worth taking together.